Morning guys, me and Charlotte are in town. We are about to get some breakfast, even though I just had some cereal. But we're going to get a second breakfast and then I am going clothes shopping. Exciting times.
Someone's being a spendy.
I am indeed. It's going to be a busy week this week. It is my brother-in-law's birthday today and we're going to be celebrating it tomorrow by going for some food and then going to a fair at Cardiff Bay. Later in the week we're going to get a massive burger at Kong's. Yum yum yum. It is a retro arcade bar. So it's got like all really old arcade games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all the original ones. I forgot to say as well guys that we're going to see Mission Impossible Fallout tonight.
We've been watching them all in preparation.
We have, yeah, and actually we haven't found them that interesting. I absolutely love, and people will hate me for this, Mission Impossible 2, the one directed by John Woo. I just love the visuals and the music and everything about it. It is laughably cheesy, but I love that kind of thing, so what can it do?
Come on, let your clothes drop down to the floor. I wanna see you moving slowly to the music. We'll be dimming the lights, then lock the door. I know it sounds crazy, but hey, we're gonna do it. Come on, yeah. Send a little DM, trying to make some plans. Trying, baby. Maybe later in the PM, hope that you will understand. I think that if you get to know me, you see I'm way more than nice. I wanna hold you, let me feel you till the morning light. I'm more than just 9 to 5. So everyone's known it's only you and I. Looks like we'll be staying up all night, up all night. Time to play what you say. I'm here for you. I'm working overtime. I'm more than 9 to 5.
Okay guys, it is time for Mission Impossible and we just watched a recap of numbers 4 and 5 because we watched half of number 4 the other day and we haven't watched number 5 since we've seen it in the cinema.
Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever.
We had no clue what they were talking about, so we're hoping that we're gonna just enjoy this for what it is and that you don't need to know what happened in the last 2 films. I guess we'll see. Well, Charlotte, what did you think of that film?
I thought it was really good.
It was good. It was better than the 4th and the 5th one, I think.
Yeah, I was getting a little bit confused towards the end.
Yeah, me too actually.
Who was doing what, but on the whole, I followed the main storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very action-packed.
It was very action-packed, as you'd expect from a Mission Impossible film. There's a lot of double crossing that goes on in these films, and I think that's where I get confused.
I can't keep up as to who's the bad person and...
Yeah, who is like the bad person, but is actually the good person, but is actually a bad person in disguise. There's like triple crossings. It does get too much, but on the whole, I agree with you, yeah. I was able to follow it enough to be able to enjoy it, which is the main thing. So all in all, yeah, thumbs up. Mission Impossible Fallout. Okay guys, it is Tuesday today and we are about to meet my family for a barbecue. Change of plans, we were going to go for a meal, the sun came out, we were going to go for a barbecue, but the wind is mental. But hopefully we're going to have a good time anyway. Okay guys, that was a really cool barbecue yesterday. And when I say cool, it was cool in 2 ways. It was cool because it was good, and it was freezing. It was absolutely freezing there. We are on our way to Kong's to get this massive chicken burger. I've had them before. Charlotte has never tasted them.
I'm looking forward to it.
You've been in cons before?
Yeah.
And Charlotte beat me on Mortal Kombat.
I'm good at beating people up.
You are very good. Guys, I never do this, but I've got a pint of beer. I feel like a proper man right now. I'm always drinking wine. I asked for the mildest tasting one. I can't stomach the strong stuff. Cheers. Okay guys, taste test. This ain't great. I can't drink it so. Oh geez. Tastes like puke. So this is Charlotte doing her first taste test of this Prairie Girl burger in cons. That's like dripping up with it. What do you think?
So, it's an A+ for me.
Okay guys, I'm back in the flat now, and you may be thinking from the rest of this vlog that I don't do any work. That's not true. I do work throughout the day, it just probably wouldn't be that interesting to film. But today I'm doing a live Instagram interview with Tuesday Cross, the author of Recently Royal and of Flesh and Fire. At the moment I'm just typing up the last of my notes for the interview. She sent me the questions over in advance so I could kind of think of my answers, and the interview will be starting very shortly.
How did you discover episodes? And when did you start writing on the platform?
Yeah, so it was all the way back in 2014, and I came to episode via a really unconventional way. I was actually promoting my Secretary Sequence novels on Twitter at the time, and a member of the episode team actually DM'd me, and they said that they had seen my Secretary Sequence books, and that they were intrigued by the fact that they had video game elements to them, and they said we wonder if you'd be interested in checking out our brand new app Episode, and if you'd be interested in becoming a paid writer for the app. So I thought, well, let's check it out. And the same member of the team said, you know, explained everything to me, how it worked, and that it would involve choices and kind of adventuring, and it would be like a visual format. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is perfect for me, because I absolutely loved the fighting fantasy books by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone when I was a child, which were kind of those choose your own adventure books where you would reach the end of a chapter and it would give you an option. It would say, if you want to battle the dragon, go to page 5. If you would like to go off into the forest to forage for mushrooms, then go to page 2 or something like that. And I absolutely loved those books as a child. I also really loved point-and-click adventure games like Broken Sword and Monkey Island. And this was pretty much a combination of the two. So I checked out the app, and the first thing I thought was, wow, this seems way more like a kind of a fashion dressing up app for very young girls than I was expecting. You know, it had a very different art style than I was expecting. And I thought, well, okay, this may not be what I initially thought it would be. But I thought, do you know what? Let's just write what I want to write, which was the Phoenix Prophecy, and just see if it will work with this kind of art style that isn't really designed for the kind of story I wanted to write. And so I thought, I'm going to go ahead anyway, and I accepted the proposition. I said, this sounds great, you know, let's do this. And when the Phoenix Prophecy came out, thankfully, readers did enjoy it, and it seemed to work. At that point in time, the majority of stories on the app were very, very light-hearted and frivolous. And I think that probably helped me in a way, because the stories on there were pretty much designed for that art style. Because mine was very, very different, I believe that might have made it stand out a little bit. So that probably helped me in the very beginning. At this point in time, I was still working almost full-time in a bookstore. And I had been in this bookstore working, you know, behind a checkout for the last 10 years. And I really wanted to get out of there. I wanted to write. I wanted to be a writer. You know, I'd written these 2 separate sequence novels, and I had self-published them because I couldn't get a traditional publisher. But unfortunately, the money I was making from self-publishing wasn't enough to allow me to escape retail. But when Episode offered me this job, the money that I would make from the Phoenix Prophecy was just enough to allow me to quit being a sales assistant and actually become a full-time writer.
So the next question is a little bit for our new readers and new writers. What are some common traps you see episode authors fall into, particularly at the beginning of their journey?
Okay, so I get a lot of DMs from writers saying that they've started a story, but they've become stuck with the plot. They don't know how to get that plot back on track. This is always due to a lack of planning. I was in the same position time and time again when I was younger. There was actually, when I was about 16, 17, 18, around that time-ish, I wrote about 100 to 120 A4 pages of a novel. And I really thought this was going to be the one, you know, this was, because I tried a few before that as well, even though I was quite young. But I really thought this was going to be the one, but unfortunately, I didn't know where the story was going to end. I knew how it started and I knew what the middle was, and I did not know what that third act was going to be. And it completely destroyed it, because I got to that point and I was just, it was like a brick wall of writer's block. And I had to scrap it, and I never went back to it. So after being in that position time and time again, I finally figured it out with this, with City of the Falling Sky. I figured out that planning was key. And after planning that one, beginning, middle and end, in quite a lot of detail, I was actually able to write that one. And it was the first novel that I was able to complete. So just from first-hand experience, I know that planning is the key to not getting stuck with a story.
All right, so this next question is a little bit in the feels. And it's one of my favorite questions I like to ask people. What was the first book that made you cry, and why?
I do cry quite easily, so there have been many. But I do remember the first time I really cried quite badly at a book, and the first time I was really deeply emotionally affected by the book, was The Amber Spyglass by Philip Pullman. Yeah, it's difficult to explain why I cried without giving away what happens at the end, but without spoiling it, for anybody that has read it, the scene I'm talking about is the scene with the bench. We're going to be crying now in a moment, just thinking about it. So for anyone that doesn't know what this book is, it's the third book in a trilogy called His Dark Materials. The first one is called Northern Lights, although in some countries it was renamed to The Golden Compass. And the second book is called The Subtle Knife, and the third is The Amber Spyglass. There was a movie made of The Golden Compass, but I have not watched it because I read all the reviews at the time and everyone said it was absolutely dreadful. and I can't bring myself to ruin the memory and to ruin my experience of the book. So I have no idea what the movie is like. I'll be interested to hear if anybody has watched that and if anybody has an opinion on it. But yeah, I really got emotional with that book. Some other series that have made me cry over the years, one of them was a little known series called Broken Sky by Chris Wooding. Definitely check that one out, guys, because it is absolutely incredible and not a lot of people know about it. So Broken Sky by Chris Wooding. Another one is the Wind on Fire trilogy by William Nicholson. And I actually cried at the very last line of Thief of Time by Terry Pratchett, which even though that book is a fantasy comedy, I really found the very last line of that book to be really poignant. Okay guys, that is going to be the end of this vlog. If you didn't know, Charlotte uploads vlogs twice a week of our daily lives, every
Sunday and Thursday. They can find me at Charlotte Palmer Evans. No. You can find me at Charlotte Palmer.
Third time lucky.
So you can find me at Charlotte Palmer Evans.
No. Yeah. YouTube.com/Charlotte, what shall I say? So, Chal, where can people find you?
I'm supposed to.
Oh no!
YouTube.com. Charlotte Palmer.
Yeah.
So you can find me on YouTube.com/Charlotte Palmer Evans. So the link to my channel will be in the description box, so just go and have a little click. So you can also find me on Instagram, so my username is Charlotte P. Evans.
And I'll link that down below as well. I would love you guys to follow Charlotte on Instagram. She posts really colourful pictures.
I'm trying to get better at my Instagram.
Oh, it's looking amazing.
Really professional.
It really looks awesome. I hope you've enjoyed watching this one.
Bye.
Bye guys.